Now, on our show, we always have Collector's Corner, and this is the first time that we are going to do something rather exciting with Collector's Corner.
It's Collector's Corner, so now let's welcome to the studio this week's collector.
Well, you're not in the studio, but you are on the telephone, and I'm going to play you a song as well. Hello, Guy.
Hello, Gaby. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
To speak to you.
It's lovely to speak to you. I'm going to play you a song in the
It's
background.
Collector's
No,
Corner.
that's not what I was going to do. No, where is it? This for you. This is just for you. A little bit of Guitar Man.
Oh, fantastic.
Is that okay?
Yes, that's absolutely great.
Now, I wonder why I might be playing Guitar Man by Bread behind you. What is it you collect, Mr. Guy Guitar Man?
I collect old, rare and unusual guitars, particularly vintage guitars and particularly British-built vintage guitars, going right back to the very beginning.
What do you mean the very beginning? When was the very first guitar?
Well, the very first British electric commercially built guitar was in 1957, and that was a Grimshaw, which was a semi-acoustic. But the very first solid-bodied, commercially built electric guitar built in this country was a Super Sound, and that dates from summer 1958. And part of my collection, I have almost certainly the oldest solid-body electric guitar built in this country, which is a Super Sound short scale.
How did you get that?
Well, I heard about the Super Sounds. They'd been a sort of legend for many years, and I heard about them. They were residing peacefully in the cellar of a house in Cheltenham, and I managed to track them down, and I managed to track down the owner, and he and I met up a couple of times, and I handed over a sum of money to him, and I came away with all of his stock. He
Oh, my word.
Actually, from the owners of the company, when they'd actually ceased trading, and they'd done absolutely nothing, and the owners of the company decided to sell them.
Okay, there's no, it's not, but the thing I want to know is, how did you know that these people had these guitars hidden?
One of my very good friends is somebody called Paul Day, who is known as the guitar guru, who is quite well known in the guitar world. He's a vintage guitar expert, and he'd heard about them, and he gave me some contact numbers to try, but he'd never actually seen them until I bought them.
Oh, wow. And so is that how your collection all started then?
No, it isn't. My collection started a long time ago, and started probably in the late 70s when I bought a rare Fender guitar when I was living in the States for a short time. And I've always loved guitars. I love their shapes, their styles, the part they played in the history of music. And they are the history of music in a way. And I love rock and roll, and I love music, and I am a modest musician, and so it all sort of fits in.
So do you actually play these guitars that you have at home?
Well, Gaby, I wondered if you were going to ask that, because I'm not actually a guitarist.
Oh, no. We've got many guitarists in the studio. They're all, I have just turned their mics up, their reaction. Do that reaction again.
We'll be over after the show.
Yeah, they're all coming round. They're rushing round to try all of these out. They went, oh, when you said you didn't play them. So how many do you have in all?
I've got nearly 200.
Wow. Wow. Where do you keep them?
Well, I keep them in my house, and I've got a sort of a studio adjoining my house where some of them are kept, and most of them are on display, and occasionally people come and see them, and from time to time people come and play them. But certainly everybody can see them on my website or my Facebook pages, and I'm always happy to talk guitars with anybody, anytime.
Do you know, isn't it fascinating that a lot of the collectors who I speak to, they have no sort of interest, if you like. Obviously, they have a passion, but they don't play the instrument, or they don't. We had a woman who had umbrellas, whatever it is. It's suddenly they just loved the item itself.
Well, that's absolutely it. It's like if I collected, say, paintings and I wasn't a painter, people wouldn't be at all surprised.
Yes, that's interesting.
I happen to collect guitars, and to me, they're more exciting than paintings.
Now, Guy, I ask this of every collector every week for the past 1,000 years that we've been doing this. Right. If there were to be a fire, God forbid, I'm not ever wishing that on you, but you are only allowed one thing that you're allowed to take with you. What is the one thing that you would run and rescue from that fire?
Well, I'm going to be
Well, it's been such a pleasure talking to you. It really has. Guy Mackenzie, everybody, our guitar man. Thank you very much, Guy. Wow. Your faces when he said that he didn't play.
Has he got any basses?
Your face when he said about the rare guitar, you just went,
the bandits' faces were really quite something.